Capability Brown is the most famous landscape architect in all of the United Kingdom. He transformed the landscapes of over 170 of England's greatest country estates and mansions by moving hills, creating lakes, serpentine rivers, and wonderful vistas that would reveal themselves as you walked through his creations. But there's a problem. You see, not in any of the places you just saw, nor in any city, town, village, or hamlet across the entirety of the United Kingdom is there a single solitary statue of Capability Brown, a travesty. And here's why. You see, back in the 1700s, French formal gardens were all the rage. A famous French landscape architect, André Le Nôtre, was largely responsible for that. There was one problem, however. It took a full-time army of gardeners to keep them up. Brown's vision, however, bowed heavily to nature, and though you wouldn't realize it today, all of these fantastic landscapes on these beautiful English estates did not exist before Brown created them. What's worse, the French architect André Le Nôtre has sculptures, busts, statues, and paintings all over France. Brown has two paintings, one in a private collection and one in the National Portrait Gallery. Why isn't an American giving this pitch? Well, I live here. In fact, I live on the Belvoir Castle estate, which happens to be the estate for which Brown drew up his last set of landscape plans to be his crowning achievement. In over 200 years, they've not quite been fully realized, but more on that in a minute. Now let's get on to how we're going to resolve this unfortunate oversight of no statue. This is Laurie Dizon-Gramel, an award-winning international sculptor who has done busts, statues, and monumental works for individuals, cities, and countries all over the world. She also happens to be the artist-in-residence at Belvoir Castle. Interestingly, it is on this estate upon which I've been standing that the 11th Duchess of Rutland recently discovered in the castle archives the last known plans of Capability Brown. They were presented to the 4th Duke in the late 1800s, started but never completed. A couple of years later, and 4 months before his death, when Brown came back to Belvoir, he wrote a letter to the Duke lamenting the fact that his plans hadn't been being worked on. It ended with this P.S. "Since it is denied us to live long, let us do something to show that we have lived." This is one of Brown's trees, by the way. In the past 2 years, with the help of Alan Titchmarsh, the Duchess has begun the process of realizing the completion of Brown's last project, the first part of which was documented in a 3-part national TV program, Titchmarsh on Brown, which recently aired. Naturally, Laurie, who found herself immersed in all this, asked the question,
are there any sculptures of Capability Brown?
To which the answer was no.
Is there anything at all?
No, just this. Okay. Laurie isn't English either. She's French, though most people think she's an American or Canadian for obvious reasons.
C'est fou, c'est incroyable. Pas une seule sculpture.
See? Her accent is due to the fact that she grew up in the United States as a young child, and we won't hold that against her. Besides, see that sign? Belvoir, French, beautiful view. But a lot of the old piles back in those days were French. But the French have long gone, well, most of them, and taken with them their impossible French gardens, leaving us with the beautiful English countryside and the now famous beautiful English estates, thanks in large part to Lancelot Capability Brown. That's not Brown, but could be. That is Sir George Carteret, a resin copy. Laurie made the bronze original for the island of Jersey for his 300th anniversary. Carteret is the one who sheltered your King Charles II before he became king, and after Charles's dad lost his head, Carteret was the first one to pronounce him king. So, the French aren't all that bad.
Thank you, Joe. But Sir George wasn't a Frenchman, he was a Jerseyman. All kidding aside, what we want is to create a historically accurate, life-size bronze sculpture of Capability Brown, and with your help, gifted to the nation. Before I start to make the large sculpture, I will be making a small one. This is of Sir George Carteret, but I will be making one of Capability Brown. And that is one of the rewards, a copy of this in bronze or in bronze resin, which you can have as a reward for contributing to this campaign. Other rewards are all listed on the website, but one of them is also the Capability Brown and Belvoir Castle book by the Duchess of Rutland. Next year, numerous events are planned throughout England to celebrate the 300th anniversary of his birth. Getting this sculpture made and unveiled, and part of that calendar, will become a reality only if you pledge to back the project. In 300 years, no sculpture of Brown has been made. We need your help to make it happen now. Please donate.
What you see behind me is some of the recent work done by the Duchess of Rutland to implement Brown's plans of over 200 years ago for Belvoir Castle. 3 new lakes tying into the existing 2, and thousands of new trees planted. So you see, Brown's vision of centuries past is still alive today. I think it's about time we immortalized him with a statue. So what I want you to do is lie back and think of England and push that donate button, please.